Sorry about that. I saw myself on the camera and then was like, I need to put some foundation on.
Cover
So I
that
ran
shit
upstairs.
up. No.
And I was like, I can't put you through that. And I can't put myself through that.
Well, it's very considerate of you.
No, you're welcome. You're absolutely welcome. Oh, I'm really hot now because I've just run upstairs to put foundation on.
I woke up and I was freezing after working 2 full days in what seems to be the end of the summer.
The end of the world.
Yeah, the end of my life. It's so cold.
Yeah, I know.
It's gone from being like roasting hot to being freezing cold, windy and rainy and windy.
It's so windy.
So
blimey.
windy.
Blimey.
Blimey, governor.
So windy. So the other night we had such an amazing storm. Really great storm. Oh my God, it was so amazing. So I woke up like eyes closed, just to flashes, and I thought it was my eyes like flashing. I was like, ah. And
your immediate thought wasn't that someone was taking photos of you or something?
No, I don't look good when I sleep.
Your go-to was your eyes were flashing.
My eyes were flashing. I think, when you think, oh, that's it, I've got a brain hemorrhage and I'm done. Immediately.
Always.
So my eyes were like flashing. I was like, and I woke up and Josie was awake and there was just lightning like I've never seen it. It's like flash, 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 like really lighting up the entire bedroom, really loud flashing. It knocked the power out. Did I say loud flashing? What's wrong with me? Really bright flashing. And it knocked the power out. And then obviously the house alarms were bloody going off in the middle of the night. And the thunder was so bright.
Bright thunder.
So loud. Yeah, it was just the best storm ever. And then when I woke up the next morning, I said to Josie was already up. I don't know what happened because I'm normally always up at 6:30. But Josie's alarm had gone off at 7. She'd gone downstairs and sorted herself out, whatever, made her tea, and then she'd come up to put a makeup on ready for work. And then as soon as I heard her, I opened my eyes and I just went, is the world flooded? Because the torrential rain was someone else.
We didn't have that, or if we did, it didn't wake me up, and we sleep with like all the windows open.
Yeah, our window was open, but Josie sleeps under the window, so she was starting getting wet.
Yeah. What's the weather doing? We don't know.
It was like apocalyptic weather. It was really someone else. Oh, there's a towel flown off me washing. I put the washing out obviously because it's blowy, but there's a towel gone missing.
It's next door.
Yeah.
Well, on the note of the storm, I have to say thank you so much for your last episode. And after all of my threats of, you're not going to do this to me, are you, Sarah? You're not going to talk about a plane crash when I've got to get on a plane. So the storm started for me at the airport when I was sitting on the plane looking out onto the runway, and I thought, oh, it's started chucking it down.
Oh, it's a bit stormy.
Oh, look at those clouds that were about to fly through. Yeah, so that was fun. I was silent, motionless, shitting it. But it was fine. It was actually a really good flight. It was actually really smooth, no turbulence. And I kept thinking, Sarah said a plane has never crashed due to turbulence. Please don't let this be the first one. But
you know what? You know what I read? And this might help every nervous flyer out there. If you have like a pot of jelly and you wedge a piece of paper in the middle, just a piece of paper in the jelly, and then so the piece of paper is the aeroplane, and then if you knock the jelly, it will move, but the airplane doesn't go. The piece of paper in the middle doesn't go anywhere.
Okay.
So the jelly is the air, and when you knock it, that's the turbulence, and it's moving around everywhere, but the airplane doesn't do anything. Doesn't go up, doesn't go down.
Okay.
That's what I read.
It sounds fun, but my fear is that the air is air and not fucking jelly, and the plane is a great big thudding piece of metal and not a piece of fucking paper.
All right. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put it out there. I've just eaten a biscuit.
Oh, yeah,
And it was it was the best biscuit I've had in ages.
Why?
It was a little bit stale. So they go a bit soft, didn't they?
Do you know what? I was like that with a packet of Wotsits yesterday I found in the back of my car, which sounds horrendous. But I mean, I was aware of this bag. I'd only opened it, I think, like that morning or something. And I was, sitting in the back of my car, waiting to do my next job. And I was like, ooh, I'll have one of those. And they were just slightly stale. So they were like slightly like chewy.
Springy. Yeah. Chewy,
yeah, which it sounds gross, but yeah, I enjoyed it. So yeah, I get that with a whole biscuit. Good job.
Yeah, really enjoyed that.
Good.
Great. So I enjoyed it so
Happy for
much. I had to interrupt you to tell you.
Yes, and yes, everyone. Okay, so that's that. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Random blam, go.
Oh gosh.
Got in there first.
Right. You did get in there first. Good one. I was like, oh, what are you going to say? Really intrigued.
Yeah.
You fucking blammed me right in the face.
Threw you in, blammed you.
Right. Random blam. I once attempted to steal a lady's pot of hot chocolate.
That's the most random thing I've ever heard. And I've just heard a story about paper and jelly.
I should tell you what happened. We was in Cadbury World.
Okay.
And we was at the checkout and we was buying a pot of hot chocolate. And honestly, when the lady scanned it, it was all like dented at the side. So she was like, oh, do you want to go and get another one? So I said, yeah, I'll go and get another one. And then when I looked, there was one right next to me. And it was like in a, like a little grocery box, just like a little cardboardy box. And I was like, oh, there's one right here. And I picked it up. And I was like, oh, this one. The lady next to me, she was like, excuse me. That's mine. And I was just like, oh, sorry. And I just put it back. Now, you'd think I'd be embarrassed. However, shit like that happens to me all the time.
You were just like, just another day in the life of Sarah.
Standard. Josie was dying on the inside because I'd just nicked this woman's hot chocolate. Because it was just like, oh, look, there's just one right next to me where the lady happens to also be buying things.
Was she aggressive?
Almost... No, she wasn't aggressive. No, I was aggressive. I was like, I'll have this one.
Taking that.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, yeah. That was fun. Right.
Thief.
Your random blam, go.
My random blam is that I am a drone pilot. That is what I do for a full-time job. So with this weather as it is at the moment, not the best job in the world because I'm fighting 50-mile-an-hour winds, which is our worst fear as drone pilots. But yeah, that's what I do. Blam.
Ooh, blam.
That's it. Let's get on with the episode, eh? Morning. Morning. It's just about morning. Had a bit of a delay this morning due to me. Sorry. I kept redoing this story and jigging it about because it's a real controversial one. There's been a lot of discussion. There's been a lot of media blurb about it.
Media buzz.
So without further ado, this is the tragic story of JonBenet Ramsey.
Oh gosh.
I know.
Yeah, this is a great story.
It is, and I hope that I've got all the bits and pieces in. I had a little jig around, but yeah, it's a really sad sad story, obviously, because it involves the death of a child. So this episode comes with a trigger warning. It contains details of the murder of a child, and I have included some details that people might find distressing. So just to let you know. Okay. JonBenet Ramsey was born on August 6th in 1990 in Atlanta, Georgia. She was the daughter of John Ramsey and Patricia, or Patsy, Ramsey. Her name was actually a combination of both her parents' names. So her father was JonBenet Ramsey, and her mum's first name was JonBenet's middle name. So she was JonBenet Patricia Ramsey. John was the president of Access Graphics, a computer software company. And this family were like loaded. They were millionaires. They had a big house. They had many cars, blah, blah, blah. Lots of money. Patsy Ramsey, JonBenet's mum, was an American beauty pageant winner. And she won Miss West Virginia pageant at the age of 20, which was in 1977. The Ramseys also had a son called Burke Ramsey, and he was born on the 27th of January, 1987. So he was a couple of years older than his sister JonBenet. And Burke was 9 years old when all this happened. Patsy got JonBenet into pageants at a very early age, and JonBenet was a hit. She won many titles, and
she's beautiful, wasn't she?
She is absolutely beautiful, like flawless, beautiful.
Blonde hair, blue-eyed.
Yeah, curly blonde hair, blue eyes, you know, immaculate skin. So anyway, that's a bit of background on the family. Loaded, pageant winner, software company owner, son, Burke, 9. Now we'll get to the story. Christmas Day, the Ramsey family go to a friend's house for Christmas party. Lots of people there. When they got home on Christmas Day night, John claimed, and I'm adding in a lot of claims, and they say and things like that. So because this was a huge case, and it went all through the courts, and the Ramseys sued lots of people. So, you know, I want to be very careful about what I say and things like that, just in case. I mean, there's no point in suing us. We haven't got anything. Christmas Day, the Ramseys go to the family party. They come home. John, the father, claimed that he carried JonBenet up to bed. He read their son, Burke, a story, and then he took himself off to bed. On the morning of December 26th, 1996, Patsy claims that she came downstairs and she found a note left on the stairs of the bottom of the staircase at the back of the house. I mean, that tells you they've got multiple staircases. So that already tells you.
To have to describe which staircase it was.
Yeah. Yeah. Was that in the west wing or the east wing? Servants' quarters? Yeah. So it was on the bottom of the staircase at the back of the house. The note read, Mr. Ramsey. Oh, I won't do it in a... Mr. Ramsey, listen carefully. We are a group of individuals that represent a small foreign faction. We respect your business, but we do not respect the country that it serves. At this time, we have your daughter in our possession. She is safe and unharmed, and if you want to see her, you must follow our instructions to the letter. You will withdraw $118,000 from your account. $100,000 will be in $100 bills, and the remaining $18,000 will be in $20 bills. Make sure that you bring an adequate size attaché to the bank. When you get home, you will put the money in a brown paper bag. You will call between 8 and 10 a.m. Oh, yeah, sorry. I will call you between 8 and 10 a.m. tomorrow and instruct you on delivery. The delivery will be exhausting, so I advise you to be well rested. If we monitor you getting the money early, we might call you earlier to arrange an earlier delivery of the money, hence earlier pickup of your daughter. Any deviation from my instruction will result in the immediate execution of your daughter. You will also be denied her remains for a proper burial. The two gentlemen watching over your daughter do not particularly like you, so I would advise you not to provoke them. Speaking to anyone about your situation, such as police, FBI, etc., will result in your daughter being beheaded. If we catch you talking to a stray dog, she dies. If you alert the authorities, she dies. If the money is in any way marked or tampered with, she dies. You will be scanned for electronic devices, and if there are any found, she dies. You can try to deceive us, but be warned that we are familiar with law enforcement countermeasures and tactics. You stand a 99% chance of killing your daughter if you try to outsmart us. Follow our instructions and you stand a 100% chance of getting her back. You and your family are under constant scrutiny, as well as the authorities. Don't try to grow a brain, John. You are not the only fat cat around, so don't think that killing will be difficult. Don't underestimate us, John. Use that good Southern common sense of yours. It's up to you now, John! Exclamation mark. Victory! Exclamation mark. SBTC. That's it. Patsy claims that she then rushed upstairs to find JonBenet's bed empty at 5:52 a.m. So this had all happened before like 5:52. That's early. She woke John, her husband, and they called the police, despite the note telling them not to. I mean, you've all just heard it. You know, even if we see you talking to a stray dog, I mean, I'd be screwed because I speak to dogs, whether they're strays or not. What would you do
though? You wouldn't just not do anything.
I don't know. I mean, Patsy was in a panic, and you know, she picked up the phone. She phoned the police straight away. I think after getting that note, me personally, I think I would be a little bit hesitant. Do you know what I mean? It's your daughter, young daughter, and they're saying, you know, you're being watched, you're being followed, you're being heavily scrutinized. If you do anything, we're going to behead your daughter. I'd be in such a panic about what if they kill her?
What if it's true and they do?
Yeah, I could be the reason that they behead our daughter. But I don't know. You don't know what you're going to do until you're in that sort of position. But anyway, I have the main body of the 911 call, and I'm hoping that if I play it, you're all going to be able to hear it. Yep. So I'm going to do that now.
911 emergency. Police. What's going on? 515th Street. What's going on there, ma'am? We have a kidnapping. Hurry, please. Explain to me what's going on, okay? There's a note left and our daughter's gone. A note was left and your daughter is gone? How old is your daughter? 6 years old. She's gone. 6 years old. How long ago was this? I don't know. I just found the note. And my daughter's gone. Does it say who took her? What? Does it say who took her? I don't know. There's a ransom note here. It's a ransom note? It says SBTC. Victory. Please. Okay, what's your name? Are you Patsy Ramsey? I'm the mother. Oh my God. Please. I'm sending an officer over, okay? Please. Do you know how long she's been gone? No, I don't. Please, we just got out. Is she right here? Oh my God, please. Okay, well, there's somebody. I am, honey. Please. Take a deep breath. Please, okay? Hurry. Patsy.
Okay, so for anyone that couldn't make out what was being said, Sarah, I'm just going to send you a little transcript and we can go through and share the transcript of it. Do you want to read the 911 operator?
Yes.
Okay.
So 911 operator, what is going on here, ma'am?
We have a kidnapping. Hurry, please.
Explain to me what's going on, okay?
There's a note left and our daughter is gone.
A note was left and your daughter is gone.
Yes.
How old is your daughter?
She's 6 years old. She's blonde, 6 years old.
How long ago was this?
I don't know. Just found the note and my daughter is missing.
Does it say who took her?
What?
Does it say who took her?
No, I don't know. It's there. There is a ransom note here.
It's a ransom note.
It says SBTC victory, please.
Okay, what's your name? Are you?
Patsy Ramsey. I'm the mother. Oh God, please.
I'm sending an officer over, okay?
Please.
Do you know how long she's been gone?
No, I don't. Please. We just got up and she's not here. Oh my God, please.
Okay.
Please send somebody.
I am, honey.
Please.
Take a deep breath.
Then there's a lot of inaudible. You can hear Patsy saying, hurry, hurry. And then she says something that's inaudible. And then the 911 operator says, Patsy. Now, it seems like a perfectly normal,
It seems like a very
call.
Panicked mother. Mm-hmm.
It does. However, there is some mumblings and rustlings and everything after this, which we can't really hear. It just sounds like a load of rustling. When experts did a sound enhancement on that video, it was heard that it sounds like Patsy says, help me, Jesus. And she says that a couple of times, help me, Jesus, help me, Jesus. There's another bit that I'm going to come to in a little bit that was particularly chilling. But I don't want to taint your view of it straight away. So anyway, after that call, the police came and they searched the house, but they were looking for a way a kidnapper could leave with a child. And the door to the basement was closed with a latch peg in it and that. So Officer Rick French did not open it, as he thought, well, that no one's going to be able to exit through there with a child. Right, wrong? There, a lot of people have got different views on that. But at 1 p.m, the police instructed Mr. Ramsey and a family friend to go around the house and check to see if anything was out of place. Like, really? Instruct a member of the family to go around the house and say, is there anything else out of place or anything like that? So anyway, this was 7 hours after the initial police call as well, which I think is just ridiculous. There was also reports that about 11 a.m, John Ramsey, the father, had also been like wandering around the house anyway and sort of, you know, mumbling and what we're going to do, we've got to do something. But he'd been in a lot of different places, and there was a report that he went down to the basement and came back up and said, no, nothing's amiss, kind of thing. But this account was fiercely fought in the courts, and, you know, John denied that, but there was several of the police officers there that had said that he did. So 1 p.m, the police say to Mr. Ramsey, go and check, see if there's anything out of place. John's first point of call was, I'm going to go down to the basement. So he immediately opened the door to the basement, went downstairs, and sadly, he found the body of his daughter, JonBenet. JonBenet was discovered in the basement of her house behind the very door that Officer French deliberately did not open. And look, if he'd have opened it, he would have seen her straight away. Her body was covered with a white blanket that is thought to be a blanket from her bedroom. John then immediately picked up his daughter and carried her upstairs and laid her body down in the lounge in front of the Christmas tree, which was another very controversial move. There was a lot of people that said that that was done deliberately, you know, lay her down in front of the Christmas tree. Don't know. Unfortunately, by doing this, he destroyed any possible evidence that had been left on her or around her. He proceeded to hold his daughter to him, hugged, kissed her, brushed her face, touched her face, and not at any point was he told by the police not to do this, through, you know, as it would obviously contaminate any potential evidence. So we get to the autopsy. JonBenet Ramsey had died from asphyxiation due to strangulation. She also had a large, very significant skull fracture. Her mouth had been covered in duct tape and her wrists and neck were wrapped with a white cord. Sexual assault had occurred, although there was no conclusive evidence of rape, as no semen was found on her body. But it was found that her vagina had, it appeared to have been wiped clean. And there was some blood evident there, but the blood had been wiped. She was found with a garrote around her neck, and it had been with a, you know, like a garrote, it's essentially a sort of a loop of something. And then
you just tie it around like a stick. Or...
a stick goes through it, and then the stick's then twisted to tighten it up. So the stick that had been used to tighten it was actually one of Patsy's paintbrushes that was like, would have been in the basement. So there was no evidence of, if this had been from an intruder, why would they have not actually brought anything with them? Why would they have killed her and then left a ransom note? But anyway.
Well, what was the garrote made from? What sort of wire? And the bindings as well. They must have brought the duct tape and the bindings. And
well, again, they don't know. It could have been, I mean, there was many things in the basement on the shelves that could have, there could have been duct tape there. There could have been white cable there. The detectives did an amazing job of, you know, researching receipts to see if, you know, it had been purchased by the family. But the initial investigation, it was thought that the wire, the duct tape, the garrote, everything had been from things that were in the house, in the basement. There wasn't found to be anything that had been brought in. JonBenet was found to have things, obviously they investigated what she had in her stomach as part of the autopsy, and they found that she had milk and quite a large amount of fresh pineapple in her stomach, and pineapple was her absolute favourite. But the family said she hadn't eaten any pineapple at the party, and the coroner said that she would have eaten this pineapple at the most a few hours before her death. So it was very, very recent. There was a bowl of pineapple on their kitchen table, and it was found to only have the fingerprints on it of their 9-year-old son Burke and Patsy, and that's it. There was also a bowl an empty bowl found in JonBenet's bedroom. So again, she could have eaten it before she went to bed. But there are some suggestions that she came down in the middle of the night, possibly with her brother. Don't know. The case got a lot of media attention. Several theories and suspicions started circulating wildly, including the involvement of her family, maybe one of her family members, maybe an intruder, or maybe both. There was all sorts of suspicions flying around. The investigation faced challenges, including a complex crime scene, a lot of cross-contamination, and a huge amount of mistrust between the investigators and the Ramsey family. A few weeks ago, I read the book JonBenet, Inside the Ramsey Murder Investigation by Steve Thomas. And Steve Thomas was one of the investigators, one of the lead investigators on the case. And if you guys are interested in the story of JonBenet, I cannot recommend this book enough. It's got so much detail in it, and it's from the police investigation side, and it's absolutely mind-blowing how the Ramsey family just did not cooperate at any point, like at all. It's ridiculous. They had a huge team of the best, highest paid lawyers that money could buy, and every time there was a question or something was put to the family or anything like that, this huge team of solicitors seemed to just put up this wall in front, and they were like, no, we're not talking about that. We're not going to discuss that. And that is, for me, that is a huge red flag.
Well, why was there mistrust? What was the issue?
That's the biggest question.
Yeah.
From the Ramseys side, they said that they felt that the police were trying to pin it on them. And obviously from the investigators' side, they were like, we just
helping yourself.
Yeah, we just need to know what happened, and why this was there and why that was there. And, there was one window in the basement and it had cobwebs in front of it, and it had a thick layer of dust that was undisturbed.
Yeah, and also the ransom note is completely irrelevant because she hadn't been kidnapped and
exactly
held for ransom. So that ransom note is completely irrelevant, isn't it?
It is. It's just bizarre. It's, but anyway, I'll go on to that, and then we can discuss what we think. I'll give you as much information as I can. So over the years, multiple suspects were considered and questioned, but no charges have ever been filed. And the case remains officially unsolved. DNA was not advanced as it is today, and the samples that were gathered from JonBenet's clothing showed a male who was not a family member. In 2016, the DNA was tested again and showed genetic markers from 2 people other than the victim, and they have not been matched to anything in any database. The ransom note was noted to be unusually long, and it very detailed, and it had also been written in the house. So it's very unusual, I'm told, for kidnappers to enter a house and
try and find some paper and a pen.
Exactly. It had no fingerprints on it, apart from Patsy's and the authorities that had handled it. And that was it, which, fine. I can imagine that, any kidnapper would wear gloves. That's fine. The note was written in handwriting that looked exactly like Patsy's. And that's Oh, that there's been a lot of controversy over the note in particular, obviously, because it's the only sort of real evidence that was supposedly left from the kidnappers.
Correct me if I'm wrong as well, but I feel like this is from no sort of like
Solid
source, but men and women have very different handwriting.
I don't know, actually. The note had been, it went through a lot of handwriting experts, and they said that they felt the writing was very, very similar to Patsy's, and even bits that had been, there were certain letters that had been deliberately changed. So yeah, there was a lot of that. The paper that it was written on was proven that it was from Patsy's notebook, and the pen that it had been written with was Patsy's pen, and the notebook and pen were obviously used and then put back exactly where they lived. Which obviously authorities said was very odd.
Yeah, because if you're coming in to do a crime, you're not going to care about where you put the pen and the notepad back, are you?
Exactly. I mean, why would you rip it off and put it on the bottom of the stairs anyway?
Yeah.
Over the next few weeks, the Ramsey's family were allowed to go in and out of the house whenever they wanted to retrieve belongings, the whole time while the investigation was going on, which when I read Steve Thomas's book, he was like, this doesn't happen. This is not protocol at all. When there's a house where someone has been found murdered,
it's an active crime scene.
Yeah, it's an active crime scene. You don't let people go in and out. But by all accounts, Patsy Ramsey was very bolshy with it, and she was like, well, I need to get stuff from the house, and a driver would drop her off out on the drive, and she was just allowed to sort of walk in. And they said it's normal that, if you're kicked out of your house because someone's been murdered and there's an investigation, it's normal that you would be allowed to go in and collect like essentials. But Steve Thomas said that this was not the case. Patsy was coming out with armfuls and armfuls of toys for Burke. She had teddies that belonged to JonBenet. She had clothes, pajamas,
just unnecessary bits.
Yeah, just things that, and this is a millionaire family. Me personally, if I was a millionaire and one of my children had just been found murdered, I would be giving the police whatever they wanted, whatever they needed. I'm not going to touch anything in that house. If my son needs pajamas and clothes and things to play with, I'll just go and buy some.
Yeah.
We're millionaires. Just go and buy some and say to him, we need to not touch anything in the house.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case. She was in and out with like filling up great big plastic boxes of stuff and bringing them out, loading them all up in the police vehicles. And it's just, just not right, I don't think. But here's some more red flags. 1, why didn't they check on Burke? Because they didn't. When Patsy came downstairs and found the ransom note, she said that she rushed upstairs, looked in JonBenet's room to see an empty bed, went and woke her husband up, came downstairs. Do you know, if you've got 2 children, you're going to check on both of them. That for me was a huge red flag.
Yeah.
Why the hell wouldn't they have gone in, or at least stuck their head in and said, oh, Burke's there and he's okay? I mean, I'd be like shaking my son awake. Are you okay? Are you okay? Did you hear anything? Did you see anything? Why didn't they go in there and check that like JonBenet wasn't in with Burke?
Yeah. Didn't check the rest of the house.
Yeah. That for me, that's a huge red flag. Why the hell wouldn't they have checked on Burke? There were no footprints outside the home, and it was snowing. So again,
No outsiders.
yeah, the snow just didn't look disturbed at all. There was no hesitation to call the police, even though they said, you know, they would behead JonBenet if they did. Why would the kidnapper have left the note on the back staircase? And for me, and for many other people, that's a big red flag. Why would they not have put it on the main staircase? It would have had to have been someone that knew that when the family get up and come down to the kitchen, they always use that back staircase. And it's a much smaller, hidden away staircase. Why would they not put it somewhere more obvious?
If it's an intruder, they're not going to know which one's the main one. But if the back staircase is a bit more difficult to get to and not kind of central, then they would have to go out of their way to try and find that.
It was a big enough question mark, because even the police said this was a small back staircase. Why would they have taken it through and put it on the stairs? Or why wouldn't they have just left it on the kitchen table? If they knew that they were going to come down, go into the kitchen, make coffee, whatever, why would they not have just left it in the kitchen? Why put it on the back stairs? It's bizarre. The ransom note demanded $118,000, which is a strange amount. But this was the exact amount to the dollar of John's Christmas bonus. And also, this family were millionaires. Why ask for 118,000?
Yeah. And ask for it so specifically, a certain amount in 20s and a certain amount in hundreds.
Strange that. There's also the matter that Patsy said that after the phone call, she knew that police were coming, this, that, and the other. She went upstairs and got dressed and then came back downstairs and waited for the police to turn up. However, Patsy Ramsey was wearing the exact outfit that she had worn the evening before to the Christmas party. That's weird. That's weird. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what they said. She said that she woke up, she went downstairs, she found this note, she
popped
ran
on
upstairs.
The same outfit yesterday.
Yeah, she ran upstairs, she checked JonBenet's room, woke up her husband John, they phoned the police, then she went upstairs and got dressed, and she put this is a woman that's got a lot of money. She's got a huge wardrobe, many outfits. And she's a beauty queen. She's always prided herself on, I know that wouldn't be at the forefront of your mind, like what you're going to wear, but this is a woman that why put on the exact outfit? And she also had a full face of makeup.
Of course.
I just don't buy it. I'm sorry. I think she was still dressed and she still had her makeup on from the night before.
Yeah.
I don't think she'd been to bed. And if she hadn't been to bed, obviously she knew that if exactly. The police would say, if you hadn't been to bed, then obviously you must have been aware of something.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, no, I did go to bed. And they said, what? So you got up at like 5 o'clock in the morning, found out that your daughter has been kidnapped. Someone's been in your house, kidnapped your daughter, and is holding you to ransom. And you decide to then go upstairs, put the same clothes on that you had on the night before, and do your hair and makeup. It's a huge red flag for me. I'm not going to lie.
Do we know an approximate time of death?
Oh, no, because it was contamination of evidence, and it was a bit of a shit show. Well, it was a huge shit show. I'll be honest. There's so little information about JonBenet's death that, I mean, it could have just solved everything. But honestly, the Ramsey family lawyers were so protective over the Ramseys that it was just difficult to get any kind of consistent information. They were asked to do lie detectors as well, and they claimed that they said, yes, we would do one, and the police say no, they didn't.
Yeah.
Not at any point. And now here's juicy a juicy red flag. It's a fat red flag. During the phone call that we played earlier, and then we read out, and I said that there was a muffled, stuffly bit after. That's one of your words.
Stuffly. Yep.
There were some experts that cleared up the sound at the end. It's thought that after the initial conversation, Patsy meant to hang up, but didn't, because you hear a click, but then some scruffly bits. When they cleared up the audio, they can hear a mumble that sounds like a child's voice that says, "What did you find?" And another voice that sounds like John saying, "No one's talking to you."
Right. So do we think that was Burke
Well,
going, what's going on?
The parents both said that Burke didn't wake up. He hasn't been downstairs until the police got there. And then he was woken up and told what had happened. But they stay firm on the fact that he had not at any point got up and come downstairs.
Right.
That then led to a lot of controversy about the fact that they thought maybe Burke may have been the one that was involved in JonBenet's death, because he's saying, "What did you find?" And John's sounds irritable and short fused and says, "No one's talking to you."
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, why would he have been angry at him? Because
but also,
maybe he did something.
Burke saying, "What did you find?" Why would that make people believe that actually maybe he had something to do with it?
I don't think it was so much him saying, "What did you find?" I think it was more John saying, "No one's talking to you."
Right.
But I don't know. Possibly it might have been that he was sort of saying, "What did you find?" as in, like,
what have you got in your hand?
What
if they've got like a note,
like, yeah, so it's something like, I don't know. There, honestly, I've got 1,000,001 different things flying through my head, and it's really difficult to verbalize it, which I'm sure you'll be pleased to hear soon as we're doing it on a flipping podcast. But as of 2021, over 1,000 DNA samples have been analysed. A DNA profile has now been compared to 1.6 million profiles with no match.
Did they take DNA from the family?
Yeah.
So there was no DNA from the family.
Again, that's something else that's like, 1 minute they say yes they did, then they say no they didn't, and the Ramseys saying no, we didn't give permission to take DNA samples. And there was also a thought to be a pubic hair that was found on the blanket that was covering JonBenet's body. However, in previous weeks and months before JonBenet's murder, the family had let all sorts of friends and family sleep in JonBenet's room and in her bed. So again, it was so difficult because they said, well, pubic hairs could have been from someone that was sleeping on JonBenet's bed, and it's just, there was such a mixed match of information.
Why would they let people sleep on her bed? Where would she be?
I don't know. Maybe in with her parents. I honestly, it's so difficult. The police had an absolute flipping nightmare with this.
Yeah.
In June 2006, Patsy Ramsey died from ovarian cancer and is buried next to her daughter. In August 2006, after more than a decade of investigation, the Ramsey family is formally cleared as suspects due to lack of evidence. JonBenet was laid to rest in Marietta, Georgia, on New Year's Eve, and her grave is right beside that of her older sister, Elizabeth, who died in a car accident 5 years earlier at the age of 22. So the theories are that it was Patsy who flew into a rage and killed her daughter due to a heated argument, possibly over bedwetting. So there was another thing where there was a urine stain that was found on JonBenet's pajamas, and there was people that worked within the Ramsey house that apparently said in interviews that Patsy would pretty much would go nuts over her daughter bedwetting. There was JonBenet's pajamas that were screwed up into a ball on the side in the bathroom, which again was another question. Why was that not spoken about? If she'd wet her bed and potentially they'd had to take her pajamas off, put it on the side of the sink in the bathroom, that was never mentioned.
Yeah.
But when did that happen then? Because John said that he carried his daughter in, put her in her bed, and then he went next door and read Burke a story and then took himself off to bed. So where did that happen? Why would there be screwed up pajamas on the side, and the family couldn't account for that? Yeah, it's so all over the place. It's also been reported that Patsy and JonBenet had an argument before the Christmas party because Patsy wanted to wear this particular outfit and she'd got JonBenet a matching outfit. So she wanted them to kind of, twin at the party. And JonBenet came down in a different outfit and said, "Oh, I don't want to wear that." And apparently they had a bit of a Barney over that. Another theory is that there was rumor that Burke, there may have been some sexual things that were happening, and they had an argument and Burke smacked his sister over the head with something which would have fractured her skull.
How old was Burke again?
He was 9 and JonBenet was 6. And obviously the parents would have had to have then thought of a cover story, and Patsy maybe sat down and wrote out the ransom note. One of them, some of them, I don't know, tied the garrote around her neck. And another theory is that it was John, the father. Why was he so quick to contaminate the evidence? Again, like I mentioned earlier, it was said that he went down to the basement at about 11 o'clock to, I think, check a window or check the window or something to see whether anyone had come in and out of it. And going down to the basement, and I'm pretty sure it was with an officer as well.
Yeah.
But they didn't search the basement. But it was said that he went down there, they checked the window and said, no one's come in and out of that window. So went back upstairs. But I don't know how the layout of the basement is, but if they'd have gone just slightly a different way, they would have seen JonBenet's body. There was also scuff marks in the basement and actually on JonBenet's body, on her back. So it looks like she'd been dragged.
Mm-hmm.
So was it possible that out of panic, JonBenet ended up being killed? The parents took her down in the basement and put her somewhere, and then
staged it.
Maybe John and this officer went down to the basement to check the window, and John thought, we were supposed to find her and we didn't.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. And then when he was asked to go and check if everything was in order, he thought, right, I'm going straight down to the basement. I'm going to drag her so that she's in clear view or something. I don't, possibly. And obviously there's another theory that it was an intruder, and it was an intruder that knew the family. They knew that they'd maybe stayed in the house before, so there was going to be DNA evidence. Well, yeah, of course there's a hair of mine found in the hallway because I've stayed at that house.
Yeah.
They knew that John got a Christmas bonus. I mean, what a Christmas bonus, 118,000. Jeez.
Never had that.
I get it all the time. Yeah, all the time. Yeah, they would know that. They would know that maybe the family use the back staircase and that's why they put that there. They would know where Patsy keeps a notepad and pen. It wouldn't maybe be unusual if the family came down and went, oh, what are you doing sitting in our kitchen? And they were, you know, if it's not unusual, I mean, I would think I know you and Josie well,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure you'd be freaked out if you came down in the middle of the night and I was sitting at your kitchen table and went, all right, what's up?
Just writing a note.
Yeah, just writing a note. No need to check where Hayley is. You'd be like, what?
Don't go to the basement.
Yeah, don't go down in the basement, will you? You'd be like, we haven't got a basement. I'd be like, I just made one. Don't know.
That's what I mean about the fact that the ransom note is really irrelevant, because she wasn't, if for instance the family had killed her and then, you know, buried her in the garden or something where nobody could find her, it would then look like she'd been abducted, look like she was being held for ransom, but actually she wasn't at all.
I know, it's so perplexing. And Burke wasn't allowed to be interviewed. The family and the family's lawyers would not permit it. Why?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
So that makes it.
He could have heard something. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I have come across this story before, and I have looked into it, and I know it's there. I think there wasn't a lot to do with the mafia as well.
There was. I don't know if there was a lot. I mean, there was some rumors of. I mean, there's so much. Honestly,
yeah,
so much in this book. It just, my head exploded. There was a lot of speculation about what the letter meant, what the initials in the letter meant,
SBTC or something.
Yeah,
wasn't it? Yeah,
it's really, really bizarre, and it just doesn't make sense to me. And I know which way I'm leaning, and I don't want to get sued, but I just can't understand what the purpose,
why they didn't cooperate,
what the reason.
yeah.
I mean, they know that if the police are going to go, or even just the family, they're going to go into the basement. They're going to, you know, they're going to search the house. If they call the police are going to search the house. So her body is going to be found, and they won't get the ransom money. So what the hell was the point of the ransom note if it wasn't to make it look like she'd been taken out of the house?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
It doesn't really add up, does it?
No. What do you think without being sued?
I've always thought it was the family.
Oh, you can't say that.
Take two. I've always thought it wasn't somebody else.
I'm not going to edit that.
No. Yeah, just because of the circumstances around it, and the fact that it doesn't make sense, and it's all very, very odd.
I'm going to try and get
the way that the family behaved,
all my evidence and things together, and I would like to do a blam on this in the future, because honestly, there's so much.
Yeah,
there's so many details that you're like, yeah, but
it's Dyatlov Pass all over again.
It is. I know, it really is.
All of these different theories and conclusions,
I'm thinking it's a Yeti in both.
Do you think? Because it's always like, oh, well, it could have been this, but actually that doesn't fit. So then it could have been this, but actually that also doesn't fit. So it's...
I mean, the bit on the phone call, that freaks me out. Like, why would the parents, if Burke was sitting there saying, why, what did you find? And they were like, no one's talking to you. Like, we're not ready to tell him that his sister's just been found murdered.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's understandable. However, why would the parents then say, no, Burke's been in bed? Not at any point did he come downstairs.
Yeah.
Why? I don't get it. Can someone just answer some of these questions for me, please? Because honestly, since I've read that book, it's just put even more question in my mind of why were the families so obstructive with helping the police? Why were they constantly contaminating the evidence and the crime scene? You know, the police said that, you know, Patsy could be sitting on the sofa, you know, singing a Christmas song, humming away to herself. And then as soon as like other people came, like friends of the family or anything, came to the house and like went in the front room, instantly she's in floods of tears. I'm not saying that that's necessarily guilt, because I don't know how I would react in that situation.
Yeah.
But you've got to admit, that's fucking weird.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why they would hide behind a whole team of lawyers, because it just makes them look suspicious.
Yeah, but then from the other side of it, the surroundings of the murder do look suspicious. So they could just be protecting themselves.
I'm sure.
At all costs.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that's, to a point, that's true. But I wouldn't put
going into the house though and like disturbing all the evidence and shit. That
I would rather put myself in the spotlight and have a chance of the police finding who killed my child in my own house while I was supposedly asleep upstairs. At any cost, I would need to know who done it. And they just didn't come across like that. They just came across as very just all about them, and we need to protect us and we need to save our reputation. I don't know. For me, I would just need to find out who it was. And also I'd be terrified that they'd come back and do the same thing to my son.
Yeah.
Don't know. I can't get past the initial suspicion of the parents. I just can't. You know,
yeah, I know what you mean.
I just there's so much to it. Blam, future Blam.
Yeah, coming up. If you can be part of our Blam episodes, if you've got things that you want to say or add to the episodes, if you know anything about the case, then get in touch with you. Can absolutely be part of the Blam episodes.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, if you put something across and say, I know loads and loads and loads about this case or about this discussion or whatever it might be, we'll put you on the actual episode. It'd be great. It'd be great to have some people that know more than I do, which, you know, is everyone. I'm talking to the whole world. But yeah, if you know about a particular topic, in fact, stuff it. Let's decide what our next Blam discussion is going to be right here, right now. And then when this episode airs, people will have, I don't know, 2 weeks or whatever until we record, and they can have 2 weeks to get involved and send us emails, perplexedpodcasts@gmail.com. What should we do it on?
Just having a little look.
I think aliens.
Yeah.
Especially
we did mention
with everything
that before,
that's been
didn't we?
happening recently in the news.
What's been happening recently in the news?
Well, apparently, as of the news this morning, they've proven that the alien sightings that they've recently seen, I want to say Mexico.
Happening. Yeah.
What was it?
There was loads in America, wasn't there?
Yeah, but there's the recent one, and they've actually apparently proven that it's not human DNA.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, we can look that up.
So we'll discuss that. I'll make sure that we get lots of good, reliable information. Yeah. And yeah, okay. So next Blam, UFOs.
Yes.
Do you believe?
If you have enjoyed listening to our episodes, make sure you rate us and leave us a review on whatever platform you are listening.
We absolutely love hearing from you guys. So you can also help support our show by donating to our Buy Me a Coffee link. We will make sure that you get a massive shout out and a big thank you in our next week's episode.
You can also follow us on social media at Perplexed Podcasts. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and if you want to see more videos and blooper reels, subscribe to our TikTok and YouTube channels.
You can also email us your stories at perplexedpodcasts@gmail.com.
And you can find all the relevant links in the episode descriptions. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye. just love Carrie Underwood.
Oh my God, I love Carrie Underwood. Oh God, I got the
Love
deepest love for Carrie Underwood and all of her songs.
Love Carrie Underwood.
Oh my God, I love Carrie Underwood so much. I'm so glad
That was
you're
so loud.
sorry. I really love Carrie Underwood. Gosh.
Sames.